Nothing warms my Cree woman's heart than hearing passionate First Nations men speak about issues that matter. My name's Dr. Shauneen Pete, and I'm from Little Pine First Nations, and I'm an educator. And I've been an educator in this province for over 20 years. And more importantly, I'm a mother. Tara Willett is my daughter. She's 15. She's a student at Campbell. And she said to me last week, "Mom, we have to save First Nations University of Canada. We have to. Not only because I want to be a student there, but one day, like you and my father, I want to work there too. And I want that for you." I am reminded at this time that as a mother, that this work for us is essential, that we keep hold of this sense of hope that my daughter has, that these little ones have, and that we women want for our children. How many of us mothers look at our brand new babies and we say we want something more for them, something better than we had, and we want to give them that opportunity, and part of that opportunity for so many of us is going to university. So we can be more ourselves, so we can give more to them too, and so that we can change this community for the better. For the past few weeks, I've been responding to the media's questions, to journalism students who are curious, and they're asking me the following types of questions. Isn't First Nations University another form of segregation? They're asking me the question, can we afford to have segregated education in this province? They've been asking me the question, do we need programs like this today? And I say, decolonize yourself. Decolonize the way you think about these issues, because institutions like the one right here behind me is segregated and in denial. Examine education, justice, child welfare, social services, and see a way in which those institutions are organized as segregated organizations, and don't admit it. These people, I'm sure they're coming to me and wanting a definitive yes or no answer, but it's really not that simple, is it? And only at First Nations University of Canada do we have the great privilege of not only learning our ways, our traditional ways and language, but of questioning the very knowledge system that we have inherited. We are learning to decolonize our own minds, and we are teaching others along the way, because we want social change that will profoundly change this community, this province, and this nation. I've been challenging them to think about the ways in which racism is denied over and over again. I've been challenging them to look at the unequal distribution of resources that privileges some people and certainly not ours. I ask them, when privilege is unacknowledged, too often it is easier for those closer to norm to blame brown people for their inequity. And finally, I challenge them to examine the very core of whiteness in the forms of institutions that surround us, and how whiteness as a norm in these institutions itself goes unexamined, and which it supports its own forms of segregations. I ask them to rethink their questions. First Nations University is necessary not only for our young people, not only for my daughter, and not only for your children who aspire to attend here, but for all of us in this province. We can all benefit from understanding our collective oppressions, and this unequal distribution of resources in the way we can better learn to understand one another. At the very core of First Nations University's mission is bicultural education. And that doesn't mean we just learn our own culture and the culture of the other, but learn to negotiate a place with one another in new ways, because this province is changing. These voters are changing. We stand together as brown and white people in this province. We work together. We love together. And you know, it would take a chick to say that, right? To make it real. Our relationships are changing. And brown and white people are not only forming families together and working together, but one day they'll work for us too. And they do. They work with us now. Having hope, though, is sometimes challenging. And here we stand in this coldness, and I know you're shivering and your feet are cold and our babies are cold too. And we sometimes lose sight of hope. And yet hope is the biggest commodity we have right now. And I see it in your action, in your voice, in your activism, and in the creative ways in which you are communicating the need for change here. And it warms me. President Obama said, in the face of great challenge, in the face of great oppression, oh, the audacity of hope. Oh my God, the audacity of hope. And yet that is what we have. And it's what drives us forward. You people here give me hope. Your collective actions, your collective voice. We share in the goal of wanting more, of seeking more, creating a stronger society, one that's founded on a different vision for all of our roles, white and brown and all the shades in between, and us men and us women together. Enjoy the day. Take it easy.